Hi everyone. In this tutorial, we will talk about how to input and output variables in Python. There are multiple ways to perform input and output operations in Python and may require different libraries depending on the data you are trying to import. But here we will cover the basics, and the most simple way to input a variable in Python is to use input command and assign that value to a variable x, for example. We can pass the message which the prompt would ask, and then we can print the input variable in the output using the print command. So let's run this, and the prompt will ask us for a value to enter. So I can say hello and then enter, and you can see this is the value which I entered in the prompt. We can pass values to a module as well through terminal, and for this what we need to do is we can define a module, and then we import the sys library, which provides access to system-specific parameters and functions. Now, when we call the module in Python, the first argument is always going to be the file name which we are going to pass. So we will use sys.argv, and the index will be 0. That will be the file name for the module which we have passed. The second argument, which will be at index 1, will be the input value, and we can continue to add more and more values with a space in terminal. So let's try to run this. So we can say Python. In this case, I need to provide the proper path. Then I can say, so that's the path to the module, and then I can say hello. And you can see that the first argument was this path, and then the second argument was hello. And I can also add another argument as well. And the second input value will be at index 2. And when I save it, I can easily say hello and then my second value. So if I have a space, that will be the third value. I can also use quotes as well. So that will be my second value then. So you can see that the first value was the path to the module. The second value was hello, and then exclamation mark. And then the third value was, which is second value here. We can also perform this function in the Python notebook using the bash magic cell. I can again use the Python command, the name of the input module, and then the value which I want to pass. And you can say, so I need to pass the second value as well. So maybe we can just delete this for now, and this will run fine. Okay, so that was my input value. We can read files using the open command and passing the path to a file. For example, in this case, I can pass the Python module which we have defined. So I can say with open that Python file as f, and I can say read underscore data. That's my variable, and then say f.read. And I can then print read data. And you can see that it has printed the contents of this file. We can read individual lines as well. And here what we're going to do is we can run a for loop here for line in f. We can print line. You can see that the for loop has read individual lines and then printed them separately. To write a file, we can use the same open, but here, for example, I have read the data from this file and I would like to write it in another file. So I can, for example, create a copy of that file and again open my file, my input test, again copy. That will be the path of the new file which I want to create, and then I will need to select the mode. For example, in this case, I am going to select the write mode. You can have a look at more detail about these modes where I have provided the link here. You can have a look at this. So if you want to open the file for reading, writing, executing, or if you would like to append or open for updating. So what we're going to do is we're going to open the file um, with the write mode, and then for updating, reading, and writing. So once you have opened it as f, so we can see is f dot write, and then pass the data which you want to write. So I am just going to create a copy of this file. So if I run this, it will create a new file. Here you can see that I've got a copy of this file, and you can see exactly the same copy I've created. We can format string literals using the f string. For example, here I can say I can use the f string. It can be small f or capital F. The way we do it is we write our text and then pass the variable within brackets. So for example, I can import map module here, which is a built-in module, and get the value of pi, and then print this value. So as you can see, this is quite a long value. So what we can do is we can truncate the value, and we can use a colon and say, let's say I want the first 4 decimal places. And if I run it again, you can see I've now got the value of pi up to 4 decimal places. We can also use something called format as well, instead of, if you don't want to choose f. So what we can do is, again, we have the string, but we say format. And in this case, what we're going to do is we can assign the variables. For example, the first variable which will pass in format is, let's say, pi. So if we have more variables, we can add further variables in brackets, so that the variable at index 1, we will have to pass it here. For example, here. What we're going to do is we're going to pass only one variable here, so I'm just going to keep it at 0. Similarly, what we're going to do is, in this case, because we want to format the variable, the truncated value, to up to 4 decimal places, again we will use 0. We truncate it up to 4 decimal places, and then we say dot format, and then pi. And we have got the same output. So that covers the basics or fundamentals for input and outputting variables and data in Python. There are many different ways, as I said. If you want to read CSVs, maybe you would like to use pandas. Similarly, for input arguments for Python modules instead of sys, nowadays Click is quite popular, and I would cover that in one of the future videos as well. I hope you liked this video. Subscribe for more videos. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye for now.